Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Stream 2 here, the coverage of DAC's group stages. I'm Odie Pixel, I'm here with Gods, and we're ready to take you through another two-game series. VGJ versus Faceless is what's going to be on your screens for the next couple of hours or so. And depending on how these games do end up panning out, we could see a lot of action though. Faceless, a team that loves to fight. VGJ, a bit of an all-star lineup. RTK, Fenrir, FY Freezing Aggressive. We were looking at the states of the groups, and this group are in a bit of disarray at the moment. A lot of teams with losses. I think it was only Empire and OG at the moment that have no losses whatsoever. So Empire, as we were mentioning yesterday, is going to feel quite good after coming through, even though they arguably have played against the two teams that you would expect them to have the better results against in comparison to the others being LFY and, of course, who was at the end of the day? Faceless themselves, wasn't
draw,
it?
Yeah.
Where they got the draw against.
It's also where neither Wings nor VGJ, the two teams who probably you look at okay, Wings or VGJ should get second. Neither of those teams have played well, and both teams have losses. So I think Empire, it's well, if you beat either of those teams, suddenly you might get second in your group, because this is not the TI level of play coming out from Wings. It's not even the Star Ladder level of play from VGJ, where they got second against Liquid. So it's going to be an interesting group. Draft's already, a lot being shown here. I feel
very early Tinker pick, really, isn't it, from VGJ?
And this is the hard counter to Terrorblade. You've got, often when Faceless run Terrorblade, it's truly a 4 protect 1 strat where it's Terrorblade and then they've got just Space Creators for jabs, Ice, Ice, Ice. It's all about Black's Terrorblade. TB was picked very early as well. That's also important to note, but it's a good lifestealer counter, so it feels like both teams picking counter for counter. You pick TB to counter lifestealer, we pick Tinker to counter Terrorblade. Tinker can actually make Terrorblade useless. It's miserable playing this matchup for a TB player if Tinker doesn't get shut down or if you don't have a good counter for him. And VGJ have 2 bans to ban out, Clockwork and probably something else. I'd be surprised if they don't ban Clockwork. I'm not sure what the other offlaner ban is, but definitely Clockwork.
Yeah, kind of thinking back to what we've seen outside on. In most games against Faceless, it seems that he's the hero that's always prioritized in the first kind of banning phase in the Ice. It seems like he's the player that teams know. He can single-handedly pretty much win games for Faceless. If he has a good start, he can just destroy the mid-game team fights.
And the entire time Black's farming, it's one of those, it's this formula for success for them. Ice creates tons of space. He just fights like he's off on his own, 1v2s, winning his matchups, getting tons of farm. Black's just AFK farming the safe lane. He's not just that AFK farming play. He's a lot more impactful than the Black of the past, but it's still the general layout for how this team works.
Does the kind of first phase Abaddon ban surprise you from Faceless? It's quite a high priority for the hero, isn't it? I mean, we are seeing more of it now.
It's becoming, by the Chinese teams especially, a top tier 1 pick. I haven't seen how high VGJ prioritize it, but I would say I'm not surprised. They also love Earth Spirit, and Abaddon's pretty good against the Earth Spirit. The silence can be annoying, but if you're not silenced yourself or stun yourself, you can protect your teammates. So I imagine they were. XY is always playing Earth Spirit. It's his most played hero. Faceless always first 2 picking it, so they're probably just let's ban it. VGJ play it.
You know what I would like to see from Faceless, and they would be the team to do this. I want to see Nuts get the Witch Doctor, because I don't think I've ever seen it actually do something, but mathematically, Sunder after Maledict. And then
I don't think that works.
I think it does, doesn't
it? It doesn't work.
I saw it on the internet.
Okay.
Someone said,
saw it on the internet,
but that's the thing, I saw it and I was like, my goodness, I'm going to go Shadowblade Armlet on Terrorblade, go jungle low, and then walk into lane Sunder someone after they've been Maledict. But you might be right. I want to see if it works.
Yeah, because in my mind, it's HP removal is kind of different. I don't know, the way it's coded. It's one of those, it's Dota mechanics. Who really freaking knows?
But
Unless it's on the internet. Then
but doesn't Maledict just check where your health was and then sees where it's gone?
See, I'm not sure. That's.
Or does it check the damage that's actually?
I always thought it was taking damage into consideration, but you could be right on that.
Talking about support for Faceless, it's definitely a likeliness. And what else could Nuts be thinking about this game? Faceless, they're one of the teams that they play Disruptor, don't they?
They play Disruptor a bit.
And that could be kind of good over the catch against Tinker and Lifestealer.
Yeah. Witch Doctor, they've done Jakiro, which could be quite nice. Yeah. Chopping down the trees with Macropie. Ice Path just as a long range.
Yeah, they did this. Yesterday, the lineup against Empire they had TB, ES, and Jakiro, didn't they? They did have those 3 heroes.
Jakiro, like, as much as Paul loved it, wasn't like a deciding hero.
No.
It just felt like, oh, you could put any hero in that Jakiro's role and it would have been good. It was just a 5-position support that Nuts plays. So I don't feel like it was like a key hero, but I feel like Jakiro's... I mean, it's not great against Lifestealer because you can rage through all your spells and you've got low armor, but it's alright against Tinker. It's at least fairly tanky. It pushes towers, but you've got TB for that, but you may want more push. Be like, hey, let's really push, amp it up.
The Dazzle's a very good ban, of course. I mean, you said yourself already, TB could have a bad game if the Tinker gets ahead. Dazzle, very nice at allowing TB and Black to get that Sunder off in time.
I like Rubik. You've got
Turn things
Nullfield. I think Nullfield's one of those super underrated spells that nobody notices, but against the Tinker can be fantastic for your team. Help out your Terrorblade a lot.
Doesn't do too much against Lifesteal, though, does it?
No, I'm not sure like what's 5-position support that does. Avenge, you've got Swap. That's one that does. Dazzle, you've got some decent tools against Lifestealer, but that's banned. So I think you don't look at a 5-position support to counter Lifestealer, per se. I mean, it could be wrong. They may grab like Avenge type hero. But not really. I don't really feel like you have to do that.
They go with the same draft as yesterday. Sure. They do go for it. I mean, we've already mentioned that I don't know. It seemed a little questionable yesterday, but it obviously worked. This time around, I feel like already these are 3 heroes that are going to be a little harder to deal with than what they had on Empire. So I think it was the game where Empire had... Well, they didn't have a Lifesteal, I don't think, for a start. That certainly wasn't a Tinker.
It was like that was probably one of their troll games or something.
Yeah, it was.
Troll
they
Magnus,
had a
maybe.
Troll. They had...
Was that the Magnus one? FN Magnus mid? No, they won with the Magnus mid.
No, it was when they played the...
Troll mid. FN was Troll that game, and they had a safe lane Ursa, perhaps. I want to say they had an Ursa.
Yes, that sounds about right. FM.
Ursa Troll.
I think you're right. But all in all, heroes that you said your heroes are a little more useful against, but VGJ.
So there's the Tinker. I was like, I saw the clock ban, and like in my head, I was like, well, there's no other obvious bans against the Tinker from the offlane, but of course, Storm could have been a ban-worthy hero if you want to protect the Tinker pick a bit. But I imagine VGJ just feel like laning Siege, Tinker does okay. Is until like Storm gets a lot of items, or if he snowballs out of control, they can heavily shut down Tinker. So I like the pick for Faceless, but I don't think it's like, Tinker's going to have a terrible time because of this.
VGJ, of course. Just needing that secondary. Well, both of their supports now with these final 2 reveals. So opening their kind of full hand with the 3 cores first.
Need some stuns. You've got Centaur stun, but it's not even like it's saying that Storm can even theoretically disjoint with the cast time. But you're probably looking at like Lions, Rubik's. Rubik, I feel like it's just like the go-to Chinese support half the time. Teamfight though first, so not a counter to the Storm by any means. A hero that can struggle against Storm because Storm may just ball right on top of Warlock, kill him before he can drop a Chaotic Offering.
Wasn't this back at Star Series? Wasn't VGJ the team that was kind of picking Warlock over and over again?
Yep.
Yeah.
They were.
It was their kind of go-to for Fenrir. Yeah. And it worked. I mean, I remember he was hitting some really good ultimates.
Fatal Bonds with Tinker. It's a lot of AoE damage. I've never seen a Tinker like not go Ags, Aether Lens, or at least Ags against Terrorblade and Pro Dota. So over the last couple of years since that's like been a thing. So we'll see a lot of AoE damage, and that combos incredibly well with Fatal Bonds. I mean, VGJ's last pick is the FY hero. I'm not sure what it's going to be. They banned Bounty. It's one of those things where they haven't got the greatest lockdown for Storm, but they may just think their lineup's going to be strong enough without it that the Storm's just not a problem. If they can 5-man down towers, haven't got the best push with just Lifestealer, but it's at least acceptable. So, I mean, Centaur can actually push okay with items with return, so it's one of those things where if VGJ do get ahead, do secure Roaches, they will be able to take towers.
Yeah, not only really disable for the Storm, that as you mentioned, they're sort of lacking. Disable for stopping Black getting off the Sunders. I mean, we saw yesterday.
That's true. Yeah.
It becomes a huge issue. We did see Empire try the Disruptor against him, which can be a good answer, but they lack the damage to kill him. With VGJ's lineup, if they had something like a Disruptor, and Lifesteal's got at least a few items, they should have a good chance at bringing him down, especially with Tinker's magical burst. But catch potential.
I'm with you. I feel like they definitely need another stun, actually. The more I see that bounty ban, and the more you mention the Sunder, I'm like, actually, it's not just the Storm.
He's just going to be able to free Sunder, yeah.
Free Sunders, free Ball Lightnings, like, get a stun, guys.
FY plays Disruptor, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has had some sick Disruptors in the past.
Oh, it's the FY Monkey. I didn't know. I wonder, because this is, he plays the bounty. It's definitely a hero you can imagine FY to pull out, but
acceptable
it's against
stun.
like a TB.
It's bad, pretty bad
damage.
against TB.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
gives you a stun and gives you a lot of early. It's like a I think the idea is, like, do we really want to pick another disruptor, like 5-position type support, and not have good aggressive roaming? Like, what do you have to match up against Earth Spirit? And that's what the Monkey King brings to the table.
It seems like, I think it just doesn't seem like one of those easy Monkey King games where it's like, oh, they've got a
No, it's
Monkey
not.
King. Because there's like a Storm Spirit, you can have that the vision from the Remnants, so you can hunt him down.
Be more like just get the scouting info for your team and set up initiations with Boundless Strike. It's a pretty good 2-second AoE stun that can set up a guaranteed Centaur stun. If you chain stun right, that's a good 4 to 5 seconds of stun where Lifesteal is hitting, Warlock can drop a rock, and you can kill a Storm or a TB in that. So
yeah. And it's also going to be quite nice as well once the Tinker gets the Axe. And so just having the ability to provide that flying vision so you can just keep spamming out the rockets, make sure that they connect. But
yeah, no, don't feel like it's the perfect game. Whoa.
And that is an offlane. Nature's Prophet, ladies and gentlemen, coming through. Faceless will be bringing that out. And Ice Nature's Prophet, I'd imagine, at least, with the lineup that they have.
Normally, we're not seeing like this hero played in the offlane just because offlane is almost always a catch hero. It's like every single offlane hero we're seeing pick nowadays, Clock, Centaur, Slaughter, whatever the list goes on, it has some kind of blink stun, or a Clockwork has a hook shot, guaranteed catch. But Storm gives you at least enough catch that they feel like they can get away with running this like kind of greedy offlaner. Something they feel can be pretty disruptive and create a lot of space. Another range hero, another hero to kite the Lifestealer with, so they can split push with. I think they recognize the catch is somewhat limited. We talked about the stuns. Yeah, the Monkey King gives you one more stun, but it's still not a whole lot of disable and pick off. So,
yeah, and the Nature's Prophet, very good against the Monkey King in some elements as well. Just having that mass tree destroying capability. You just got to guess the rough area, and boy, he's down on the ground for a good few seconds.
You don't even have to have the perfect idea of it. So,
because I think we saw, it was in another game where we saw Nature's Prophet. I think it felt like picked up in response to the Monkey King. Yep. So it definitely feels like there's something about it that pro players feel gives them the edge, and indeed could be that
good hero to
potential.
take advantage of, like the long cooldown of Warlock Rock too. Like the rock gets dropped, you've got constant uptime. Your Nature's Prophet can push lanes quickly, can TP anywhere on the map. You respawn, you TP right back in. Very high uptime, just for fighting with Nature's Prophet. You're not really relying on any big cooldowns, so that's often the approach when you see like a Warlock on the opposing team. He uses rock, they win a fight. Well, we win the next 2 fights because you haven't got that rock.
Well, here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, getting ourselves into the action of the first game. And, of course, looking at the heroes and the player combinations, nothing surprising. Everyone's sticking to exactly what you'd expect with what's been picked up. And, well, I mean, overall, so with the way that the draft finishes off, do you favour a side in this one? I mean, it's Faceless with, again, a very facelessy draft, but it's VGJ with a lot of heroes they're going to be very comfortable with.
In my head, with these kind of standardish, at least the VGJ standard draft, I'd give them a perhaps slight edge, but haven't been very convinced by VGJ's play. It's been a bit sloppy this tournament. I think the Nature's Prophet's one of those X-Factor heroes that I'm happy to see. I don't feel like this is like, they picked Nature's Prophet, I'm not sure how this is going to work. I feel like, yeah, this can do work. It's Ice. It's a classic hero of his, and it's the kind of hero which I feel VGJ probably haven't practiced much against, haven't played much in it versus a while, so I can see it being a very strong pick for Faceless. So, well, I feel overall the more standard Sable draft is VG Gaming's. I'm not sold that this is like that heavily favored their way. I've got the better cosmetics on Faceless. This blue Terrorblade, I love it.
Oh yeah, black. He knows what's up when it comes to looking good on the TB.
He's chosen his colours well.
He is ready, and of course, we saw yesterday Black have a very strong performance on the Terrorblade. And, walking off. Good old Monkey King. That was weird. He got hit by that.
Took zero damage. What do you mean by the dual breath? No,
yeah.
Must have
No, I saw. I was clicked on him. He had the debuff, but I swear he didn't take any damage.
Did he dodge it with the mischief? Maybe, I'm not sure.
I don't know. That looked weird. Unless I'm a man, I swear I was clicked on him and the debuff appeared, but his health didn't go down. Just Monkey King things.
It was probably the he only got hit by with the one of the because the first one of them does
one of
damage
them damages,
and one
yeah,
slows. Yeah, so he got hit
he
by
must
the
have just
slow,
got hit by
but
the
not
slow.
damage. Yeah, so it's like 2 separate nukes, so to speak.
FY
2 separate spells in
with
one.
the sick jukes. Oh, he didn't juke this one. And in fact, FY, he could be going down here. XY and Nuts on the case. FY, can he Monkey King his way out of this one? He's yet to skill, actually, and in fact, with a heal from Fenrir, he will be A-OK. He can walk it off. Saves that skill point until he finds a situation where he feels it's going to be optimal to make something happen.
Definitely feel like one of the weak points in VGJ as a team has been FY's hero pool. To the point where he doesn't feel like he's an amazing or comfortable Earth Spirit player. He's played it a bit, but hasn't been all that impressive, and we'll see how he does on Monkey King. If this is also going to be maybe a hero that he can't play to the level that we're seeing other players play it, because these are the kind of heroes you have to play in the 4 position these days. You can't just get away with playing like your greedy 4 position jungle farmers like FY used to do, or these like 2-hero roamers like FY Fenrir used to do. So very much, if you don't have an Earth Spirit player, you're not like a competitive tier 1 team. It feels like so.
Yeah, especially if you're a Chinese side,
Yeah.
with the amount that we're seeing the Chinese teams bring it out. But I mean, interesting lanes as well. So for VGJ, ROTK not on his own down bottom. He's got the backup of Fenrir and FY, and leaving aggressive on his own up top against Ice Ice Ice. Now I feel this is a lane where Ice 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 should be able to do pretty alright, shouldn't he?
Should be, but Poor Man's Shield will help aggressive a lot here. I wonder if he actually started with double Agi Slippers, because you can't buy those in the side drop anymore. So he must
I
have
think
been.
he must have, yeah.
Or he probably started with Poor Man's Shield with Tangos.
Yes.
Just had Poor Man's Shield Tangos, bought the boots and Quelling Blade. Ice 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 loves these kind of 1v1 matchups. The CS so far has favored aggressive heavily, but now with an Orb of Venom on the Nature's Prophet, this lane is going to swing back the other way, I imagine. Treants are pretty painful to fight. I don't think aggressive is going to stay on top of this matchup by any means.
So bottom, VGJ trying to give Faceless a bit of a rundown. FY does get the buff built up. We'll see if he sees an opportunity to use it. Nuts. Actually coming relatively close. FY has got that Orb of Venom. We'll get one slap in. And mid lane, the only lane we're still yet to talk about. I always seen that one go at the moment. It's pretty even. Slight edge for the Storm.
Yep.
But Freeze is doing alright on this Tinker.
Yeah, Storm's full HP and mana without having to use his Shrine, while Freeze just used his to kind of stay alive is probably the big thing to note, but Storm is bottle crowing. Main difference there, but yeah, definitely small edge going Jabs' way. See how much that continues. It probably will continue unless Tinker decides to go for some super harass build with like heat-seeking missiles, but that's not a build you really want to do.
Top lane as expected, really. Ice 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 keeping on level with Aggressive's farm. Both heroes getting something out of the lane, but neither at too much threat of dying at the moment.
It started with Lifesteal having like a 8 to 10 CS lead, but once Nature's Prophet got some levels in Treants and the Orb of Venom, and with Phase Boots, it started to swing Ice Ice Ice's way. It's going to continue to swing that way. Phase Boots is going to be brutal for the Lifestealer. Only 3 base armor. I think it's 2 armor without the Poor Man's Shield. The Agi giving him that extra point. It's a tough matchup.
I'm trying to give XY the run here. Tried to block him off from any potential roll away, but in fact just goes for the boulder smash first.
He's
Nuts.
got his Jingu up.
Look for the slow and damage onto Fenrir. We'll go to chase that. XY with the Duke should be fine. Still has the roll. TP straight out.
Didn't go for the Boundless. I feel like he could have gone for a Boundless Strike into like another right click on XY. 2 right clicks should have been enough with the Jingu.
Yeah, he was very close to bringing him.
Yeah, that's true. Again, not a Monkey King player. Don't know the exact damage output that would have done, but
I think it's about 2,000
yeah,
at level
2,000.
1.
That sounds accurate. That's what I've seen.
He's got the Dream Rune now as well.
Yeah.
But at least it's not the old one where he keeps that. The passive lasting forever.
Yeah.
Great way to sell an Arcana. But it's gone now.
Yeah.
So FY won't get the glory of using that. But does still have the DD. Finding a courier could be nice. Is it any close to making any journeys out? That's the question. He'll look towards mid. Good scan though from Faceless, and they'll know for sure that it's Monkey King hiding around in the neighborhood. So Jabs, he'll come and kind of just tentatively check around the tree line and keep himself safe.
To level 6. TP in from XY just to refill his bottle. This is classic Faceless supports. They more than most teams have like 2 of the most selfless supports, all playing for their cause. TP in to refill the bottle. Jabs will probably just jungle his level 6, not really feeling too safe in the mid lane until he knows where Monkey King is, but Monkey will show. He hasn't actually gone for the Primal Spring. It's a very different approach to the Monkey King.
We're very rarely, I can't remember the last game we saw someone just pick up the passive first. I mean, he had the passive of the Poor Man's Shield. He was ready to man fight all of the time. I think every other game it's always in the street arts and hunting for that early courier pick-off. But FY sticking down on this bottom.
Yeah, the idea is you're just aggro tri-laning and contesting Black's farm. So yeah, you can be in the trees in Primal Spring for initiation, but you can also just run at the TB and start right-clicking him because you've got Poor Man's Shield. So you can see Black's CS, 19 CS only, Centaur with 29. They've won this bottom lane thanks to the Monkey King just being visible. Like, you don't need to be hiding. You can just run at the heroes, let them know where you are, and they can't fight you. But I'm still, like, not sold this is the best way to play Monkey King, but I think they just felt like shutting down Black was going to be to their benefit this game. They do have to be worried about Ice 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 now. He's level 6, can throw the ultimate. can turn around ganks with a TP in as well.
Let's make a bit of a go on to Black now, turn towards Nuts instead, but now Faceless just straight in with the response. Who's coming from RTK trying to keep them back? The Nature's Wrath jumps through, and indeed Ice. He's going to focus FY straight away, has the Sprout to trap him. One more touch will do it. FY looking for the Dukes, will be able to tree dance in a couple of seconds. He's trying to get himself away.
Yep, he's out.
He should be A-okay indeed. They won't catch him. XY still on the chase though for ROTK. Nuts coming across as well, and with a TP in from the Storm Spirit, Jabs should be able to pick that one up absolutely easily. First blood for the Storm as he gets himself involved, and VGJ not finding anything. FY only just escaping, but as you said, the effectiveness of this Monkey King in the early stage really yet to be felt.
Yeah. Started off kind of bad for Faceless there. You commit 4 heroes, including the NP ultimate. You're expecting to find at least 1 kill right away, and probably 2. The reason they didn't find kills is because they went for 2. Ice went for the Monkey King. The rest of the team went for the Centaur. They split up, which is the right idea, realistically, because that rotation is meant to get multiple kills, not just 1 kill. But the end result was they almost got 0. But luckily for them, Storm is able to TP in with his level 6, get a kill, and the end result is actually pretty nice because Storm getting the first blood is a pretty good hero to get first blood on. It was some free farm alone time for aggressive while they were chasing around, but Ice already back to the off lane. Going to be going straight into the drums. Another reason why Nature's Prophet perhaps stronger now is because this drums has received some buffs because of the price point being made cheaper. It's a nice cost-effective item you can buy pretty early on.
Freeze getting a bit more space now, though, in that mid lane with Jabs backing off and clearing up some camps. Yep. So we can, at the moment, certainly expect to see a good timing on the boots to travel. 1400 towards the recipe. And Faces, we're not really seeing either of the supports look towards the mid. Even XY hasn't really gone for any sort of early play onto the Tinker this game.
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be perhaps addressed before the boots to travel. It's like a why not gank him kind of thing. You've got Nature's Prophet as well, who can throw an ultimate, who can TP in. Oh, Jabs. He saw the Monkey King. He's looking for him, but didn't quite manage to break his tree. 10
seconds till he has the mana. In fact, with Ice coming in as well, they'll certainly do it. Jabs.
Nicely played.
Getting the second kill this game. Here's as we were mentioning, good start for the Tinker, but also an even better start for Jabs on the Storm.
Yeah, he's got a nice little neutral stack here as well to play around.
Bottom lane, Faceless making another bit of an attempt onto the Warlock, but Fenrir's already there with a heal. Black is looking to chase down, will end up finishing it, but the reactions come through from VGJ. The stun onto 2 from FY. They'll look towards Black, take him down quickly with a double edge. It's a double kill for Aggressive, and they're not done yet. Looking to cut down Nuts, moving in close and personal. FY will find the final touch on that one, but Aggressive with kind of like the classic Aggressive play that we're used to seeing from him. 9 minutes in, straight down into the safe lane of the enemy, and getting involved in 3 kills.
Just TP'd in.
Ooh.
Not to his death. He has a Tango. Otherwise, I feel like he does die there to a Sprout. But Ice just says, "Get out of my lane," with that TP in. But yeah, good move from the Lifestealer with his rotation. And Ice wasn't really ready to fight. Without ultimate, Ice just wants to like center lane farming, and will not go for anything. Black at top.
He's been left alone. Yeah, Ice is out of there. He's not coming back. Black will be chased down. I mean, the Sunday gives him a bit of time. Now Ice comes back in, but they can't keep Black alive. The double edge finishes him off. Ice maybe seeing if he can get something in return. Gets the treants out. But Aggressive's already out of there. He doesn't have the damage to cut through RTK. And Ice won't get the kill. Is in position now, though, to push with Nuts and Jabs turning up to the lane. It looks like they will be able to get this tier 1. Very little that VGJ can do to stop it. But yeah, Black going down, and that is the big kill that they're hoping for, as Black's already struggling this game, and that's going to keep him even further behind.
Actually defend with the Tinker. It's boots to travel up, has the max march.
See if this Liquid Fire finishes it off. It's going to be deniable.
Get down to deny, yeah. I think you just deny this one. There's no point leaving it up. You don't really need this tower at this stage of the game. It's a pretty not worthless tower, but it doesn't really. It's mostly just a little money bag for Faces to grab, so denying a bit of cash is more than okay. And yeah, VG Gaming will just fall back and be happy with their spoils. A couple successive kills onto Black's Terrorblade puts him in a pretty good spot.
Oh, this could be nice for Jabs. Has an Invis, fair bit of mana to play around with as well. Fenrir and RTK both there. He's going to look for the easier kill, and especially with Fenrir already using the heal on RTK. It looks like he might. RTK has the stomp, still a good bit of mana on Jabs. He zips forward, and he'll be able to beat him down through the Shadow Word heal. It's not strong enough. FY turns up, but Jabs too far away. FY unable to chase down, and Jabs is just having a beautiful opening to this game. Had a perfect time in lane with regards to CS, with 71 at 11 minutes mark, and 4 kills under his belt as well.
Definitely one of his best heroes and showing it here, and playing a game where there's not going to be too many good counters for him. There's not a whole lot in the way of disables, so... luckily doesn't get stunned, but he's still dead.
He's getting another kill at Jabs. Absolutely loving this game. Life still won't help you against that amount of burst that Jabs has with the 4 and the Remnant. And it's just getting better and better for this Storm. This is going to be a very quick Bloodstone timing at this rate.
Yeah, he's, just 700 away. And yeah, looking fantastic right now. Just needs the, 900 away. Just needs the recipe with the Vitality Booster money already there. So he'll shrine up and continue farming, continue grabbing some runes. Life is very good for him, so I feel like it's not the end of the world for Faceless that Terrorblade's not having the best time. He's still going to have at least the Metamorphosis and items to push towers with, and Jabs can just find the kills to set up those tower pushes, so I think you look at this game like this Tinker is going to be the one having a tough time with how farm Storm is.
And we're seeing as well some of the members of Faceless just being able to abuse the fact that lockdown is lacking for VGJ. You know, Nuts able to just push out the top lane, TP out straight underneath the Lifestealer and the Warlock. He's now got the level 6 Fenrir, so that may change a little bit. But it certainly is a weakness that we talked about in the draft, and it could certainly come back to bite them. As you mentioned, with Jabs having the start that he has, this is going to be an incredibly strong Storm Spirit, and you don't have the best answers for him.
Yep. You've got this like big level 6 teamfight now with the Wall of Rock, but where do you find that teamfight? If Faceless want, they just split the map. They've got Nature's Prophet, they've got Storm. Storm's headed bottom, Nature's Prophet headed top. They get tier 1 mid just because they kind of struck when VG Gaming were out of position, but most of the time they'll just be split around the map. They don't need to group as 5 on the Faceless side because they don't want to be fighting into that big chaotic offering. So, as it stands, VG Gaming need to find some way to use that ultimate, force down some towers, but not sure they have the best tools to do so. Aggressive is not all that farmed on his lifesteal. I mean, he's the most farmed Dire hero and is in a reasonable spot, but he's gone for the Midas, so he's not all that teamfight ready at this point.
They need a big play here. I mean, ROTK was coming across smoked up. He does have the blink. It's going to be spotted out almost certainly. And, well, we'll still get the catch onto XY. And XY will be taken down. So VGJ will put a stop to that push up top, get themselves a kill.
Not the kill they would have wanted. Just to support Earth Spirit. There was 2 other heroes in the lane itself. They would have ideally liked a 2 or 3 kill pickup, but if they're going to find one, at least get the core Nature's Prophet, but not the case, and the split push will continue. The constant nuisance that is the Ice Nature's Prophet is now in the bottom lane, goes from top to bottom. Jakiro's even rotate down there with the Liquid Fire, so you think you defend one tower, well, it's suddenly another different tower that's being pressured, and yeah, you've got this good tower defense with Warlock Rock, but Warlock doesn't move around the map all too well. He can TP wherever fights seem to be happening, but TPs have longer cooldowns now, and you're just being constantly pulled apart. And it puts a lot of pressure on this Tinker to defend lanes, but Tinker himself needs to be careful he doesn't get too close and put himself in bad spots where he gets picked off by heroes like Storm Spirit.
Absolutely, and with that Bloodstone already done, he's ready to go and start to build up the charges. Looks towards Fenrir, won't quite get it.
Just bails, probably. Oh, we may still get caught on the retreat though.
Do they have the control? Well, with him out of mana, and with that Blink Hoot Stomp, they certainly do. But he will kill himself. Has the Bloodstone suicide. So we'll be able to deny that, but of course, still sort of good news, really. He's just picked up that Bloodstone, and VGJ have managed to knock it down 4 charges.
The second they go for him, though, the push comes bottom, so it's definitely not what you want for your Storm. You're hoping that if he doesn't get the kill, he at least gets out without dying. But the suicide means losing those Bloodstone charges, and the ideal scenario is, okay, he forces those 3 full-man rotations, escapes, doesn't have to suicide, and his team push this bottom lane, but push still happening, taking the tier 1, doing some damage to the tier 2 even with the maxed out Liquid Fire now. This is the nuisance that is Jakiro. They've got really good vision to protect this push around the area as well, so it's hard to kind of make rotations in unless you're smoked up. And Infest bombs just aren't really all that scary until at least an armlet's completed, and that will happen at this stage. But 15.5 minutes in, Storm still well ahead of the Lifestealer.
Jabs as well. I mean, after the treads, do you imagine he will just pick up the Orchid, or is there any other kind of situational item in this game that you feel he requires?
Nah, Orchid looks great. Good against all the cores. Centaur if you initiate on him, stop his stuns, his stampede, Lifestealer, stop the rage. Tinker, stop any of his spells. It's definitely a Orchid game. Don't really see any other feasible items to at least get right at this stage.
VGJ attempting a push in the mid.
Yeah, they want to use their big ultimates, but the second you see like a scary 4-5 man push happening mid, that's where, alright, you push top with XY. I mean, he's not really pushing his Earth Spirit, but more importantly, you push bottom with the Liquid Fire. And again, they've got this ward here, so they see TPs coming in. They can see any TPs to the shrine. They've even got a Treant there. They have really good vision. So while Tinker can TP in and try and spam this down, they're still taking damage just to the right clicks and the Liquid Fire.
This tower falling very, very low indeed on this bottom
TPs,
lane.
they need to get out.
They're looking for the wraparound VGJ. What can they find off the back of this? Ice is already out of there. Nuts is not going to be as lucky. So VGJ, again, they get a kill.
They got the tower, though.
Exactly. It's not the big kill, and they do lose that tier 2. And at the same time, top lane, it's maybe about to be pressured as well. Jab's going to maybe look if he can get a kill. Has an Arcane Rune and a regen to play around with.
Doesn't get to cancel his first TP since the Storm Spirit was there, but you see that Heat-Seeker Missile dodge. Nice little mechanical play from Jabs, but does need to be careful in this top lane, whoever's defending.
Aggressive on his own here at the moment. If they get a good setup for XY to roll in, they could attempt something, but they'll play it safe, Faceless. Back themselves off, Ice straight down to the bottom to keep the pressure off, as Freeze is consistently trying to do it. In fact,
Caught Freeze.
we'll see him. And then nothing to really be able to burst or control this Tinker on himself. Needs XY in the neighborhood, really, for having a chance at catching out the Tinker. Black's getting a lot of space whilst this is all going on.
Yep.
He's kind of
From
been
the
moving around the camps, and as we've seen, VGJ unable to do too much about it.
That's the beauty of keeping not all your lanes, but 2 of the 3 lanes pushed, is that it opens up your entire jungle. Because VG Gaming have to defend their tier 2 top, their tier 2 bottom, the entire Radiant jungle, both Radiant jungles, the mini jungle and the big jungle, are pretty much entirely freed up for TB. TB hasn't been farming lanes at all. I feel like the majority of his CS has been jungle farm, but that's fine. He's getting enough CS. He's still, I mean, Ancients themselves give a ton of golden XP, and that's probably where most of his farm is even coming at this point. So things looking pretty good for Black in terms of overall recovery.
There we go, RTK ready to go for a bit of an infest play. Aggressive inside him, jump forward immediately, and Nuts is gone. Quick burst, quick kill for VGJ. And as we can see, even though the
The
towers...
Monkey King, by the way, he's
he
a Tango. He's scouting. They haven't seen him yet. Oh, he's been spotted. He was just he was watching.
He's dead.
He was watching a Storm farm while disguised as a Tango, and then I think Jabs just suddenly was like, wait, what? And Jabs suddenly just right clicks him out of nowhere. I'm like, okay. FY is not.
He's not having a good game, FY.
He doesn't seem to be a Monkey King player, I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, I was excited. I felt he would be, because I felt FY as well. I thought he would be the kind of Monkey King to get the tree nuts and go around and hop around the lanes rather than just sitting there, like, because of how good he is on these roamers like the Bounty Hunter. But he just didn't play it in a similar style, it felt.
He's struggled to achieve a whole lot in this game. I mean, he did a lot in the lane, but that wasn't. He could have been an ogre. He basically played like an ogre plays in bottom lane. He could have been an ogre Magi, and I feel like done just as much, if not more. I guess they don't have good heroes to Bloodlust this game, just the Lifestealer. But if they'd done a draft where like ogre would have been better for the Bloodlust, this would have been the game for that. And if anything, picking a hero that had a couple more like disables. I mean, ogre's not great. He's just got Fire Blast, much like Monkey King just has. Monkey King's probably better in that department, but do you feel like a disruptor type hero may have just been more the way to go if you wanted to just contest the lanes and then have a hero to counter the Storm, counter the TB? Because, yeah, TB's he's farmed again. He's doing just fine.
I mean, all things considered, kind of across the board, but cores on both sides very, very kind of similar almost. You've got the edge for VGJ when it comes to safe laners slightly. In the mid lane, the edge is there for, wow. Talking about Jabs, gets himself involved in another one as Ice.
Yep.
Turns up. Dispatch of FY.
Yeah, this Storm would be pretty out of control right now if not for that misplay where he had to Bloodstone Suicide, so he's still below his starting point of 12 charges. He'd have, what, like 14, 15 charges if not for that, and be a real menace, but still, it's not just about the Storm, it's the constant split push. It's going to keep happening at top. Nuts doesn't really care if he gets caught out here, much like at bottom. Like, they get the tower, they see the gank coming, and he dies so that Ice can escape. Kind of his role, just split push, get picked off. Well, 4 heroes just ganked a 5 position Jakiro. If you get 3 4-man ganked as a 5-position support. It's well and truly space created, and more than the space created, it's the scouting information for your team. It's now know where like these dangerous ganking heroes are, and that means TB can farm safely, Storm can farm more aggressively, Nature's Prophet can aggressively split push a lane, so it really sets up the rest of your team to be more effective when you're deep on the map as like a Jakiro in this stage.
And Faceless, of course, are going to have a lot of nice lockdown themselves with both Ice and Jabs looking for that Orchid build-up.
Yeah. It's a great item this game, as mentioned. And see when they look to fight, it's kind of, I feel like they're at their strongest when they hit the TB BKB, but it's also like how early do you really want to get a BKB? You don't want to rush it and force fights before you can really end the game. So you may go for a Dragonlance, you may even go for a Skadi Butterfly before the BKB. You can take this game late, but it's like once you hit that BKB, go and take Roche, go and push high ground. That's like the general idea of this TB pick, against the Tinker even more so.
Nuts trying to juke it out, but they'll Stampede, get aggressive in position with the Rage to take him down. And in return, Ice with the Sprout, but has to be a little bit careful. VGJ with the full 4-man around here. Yeah. So Ice indeed will back off, and poor old Nuts, it's kind of, the Nuts and FY are on the same level of pain this game. They've both been heavily targeted by the enemy.
No one has detection on this dire side against a Shadow Blade. That seems a bit concerning, but just means Ice can oh, he's going to Shadow Blade in, actually. Try and perhaps catch them as they TP out.
Let's get a bit of damage down. In fact, it's mid lane where the fight's kicked off. Jabs has already taken down the Tinker. Response from VGJ will come through. Jabs, low on the mana, goes for the TP out. Is he going to make it? Good golem from Fenrir. Oh, he's still surviving. He's got a bottle charge. He's going to be okay. He'll get himself away from this. VGJ will end up, though, killing off Ice. RTK and aggressive. Looking to see if they could chase down Black here. They are actually going to turn away here. RTK and aggressive a little scared at this Terrorblade. So just being the 2-for-1. And
time to have an Arcane Rune.
Yeah, my goodness. Escaping that after getting the Golem dropped on him.
Got the Tinker catch, but didn't find the bigger targets. Ice's TP and also got punished as he got cleaned up by RTK. So not a massive win for either side, but the Rock goes on cooldown. I think that's where you look at that like, well, the fight itself wasn't won but either way, but the post-fight lay of the land is that Faceless can get aggressive.
They see him here as well. They really want to try and get this kill. And they do have Vortex into the Ice Path. They've got a fair bit of lockdown, and okay, with XY turning up as well, it's a surefire kill. Yep. Aggressive gone. Jabs now up to the 13 Bloodstone charges, and Faceless aren't done yet. Look at the zip there from Jabs. Straight across onto Fenrir. We'll have the Stampede coming out from RTK, and that is actually going to be enough to save him. Fenrir back to safety. The Faceless grouped up and ready to power down this middle lane. They'll take down the tier 2. They still have over 30 seconds to play around with, whilst aggressive is still on the sidelines.
Yep. They're just free roam of the map at this point. Another regen rune spawning, so if Storm can fall back and pick that one off, he's looking fantastic. I mean, he's 13 Bloodstone charges with the Orchid. He's got tons of mana regen. Now, went for the mana regen over the damage talent again. This is like, I think both are pretty good on the Storm, but the mana regen makes him massive.
Oh my goodness. Nice, and they found him. FY. Yep. Chilling on the tree line.
I think FY's been a bit of a burden this game.
So top lane. Got Freeze trying to make the plays onto Ice, but Ice with the Dukes. It's actually going to be A-okay here. Freeze sticking around. Was going to go for the TP out. Sees Nuts. And yeah, he's going to be okay. Nuts has already used the Ice Bath. So he's out of there. But yeah, as you mentioned, FY just really struggling to kick it off this game. It was that final pick that they went for. They felt that they had some strength with the Monkey King this game.
I think when they, from the start, I was a little dubious of the Monkey King pick for FY just because I was like, they fifth picked it. If they were really confident they had a good Monkey King player. You know, most teams are first two picking Monkey King. When you fifth pick the Monkey King as for your 4th-position player, it's like a no faith sign that you're not willing to pick it up early in a draft. But I think RTK is probably just like, this is the right hero for this game. Like, I've seen what other teams can do. If we can do that with Monkey King, it's the right hero. FY, can you play? And FY is probably like, sure, man, I got this. Haven't played it much, but I've seen other people play it. I'll mimic it. I mean, he didn't really try mimic it. He went for a very different build, but yeah, the Monkey King experiment has been a big flop.
We'll see if RTK and FY can make something happen, but again, Ice. Shadowblade it up.
Free roam. Where the sentries on Warlock. No dust anywhere.
I'm surprised FY still hasn't picked up dust. You see a lot of time being on the monkey key.
Yep.
As he's normally the main initiator.
He should. Courier's going out. It's got sentries, so they'll scatter the Shadowblade initiation, but you really want dust for, like, you gank Nature's Prophet and he Shadowblades. Or he's got Drum's Shadowblade phase. That's a ton of movement speed. He can outrun the sentry wards if you're not careful, so I do feel like you want dust as well.
XY with this Invis rune.
Oh, FY, you
Oh,
know.
poor old FY.
Wow.
Get a few Bible thumps from here, as he could be in trouble again. In fact, no Bible pumps, bit more of a PogChamp. That's fair. FY's fine.
FY surviving is a PogChamp.
That's a PogChamp. He didn't die.
How far we've
lived.
come.
Top lane, though, another man who's been suffering in the death department, Nuts. Picked up again, but as you said, this is the kind of Nuts Chikira that we saw before. It's a click down a lane. Doesn't matter if you die, just keep those lanes pushed in. Worked out yesterday, and at the moment, certainly seems to help work out in this game here. Aggressive with the raised TP out, as we're looking to head across towards him. Jabs. BKB is going to be the next item after the Orchid. And
Yep.
I mean, with that BKB, it's going to be so hard really to do anything about the Storm Spirit.
Oh yeah, he can just ball in aggressively, insta-kill the Warlock, and nothing Warlock can do about it. Same with the Tinker. If he's Tinker's a bit tankier, it's not as much of a free kill, but killing Warlock means the rest of your team can suddenly team fight. Killing Tinker, though, is what enables the Terrorblade, so perhaps they'll prioritize him so that TB can just destroy everyone else. TB, haven't seen him really at all. I mean, this is
The
being
full
black,
farm.
going back to his roots, AFK farm while your team makes space for you. Why not? I mean, that's TB's job this game. He's not. This is not Black being greedy or not helping his team. This is more the hero and the nature of the draft and what the game calls for, and he's done a fine job of that, but definitely hats off to Jabs, who's played very well outside of that one death on his Storm Spirit. Found constant pickoffs. RTK is huge on his center.
He is farming an absolute treat.
Jeez. I'm not sure how much it matters because he's going to get kited pretty badly by Storm. Return will help a lot against TB, but
I mean, what do you think about this as well? Obviously, it has been significantly nerfed again and again, but a lot of Centaurs now foregoing the Aghanims build because of these nerfs. Is it at that state that you feel it isn't the item now always?
I'd say so. I think the heart is super value for the amount of strength and HP it gives you. Way more than the Aghanim Scepter, and you become so unkillable.
Ooh, XY.
Nice stun, but too late to do anything about Roche.
In fact, FY is trying to man fight up against this one. Comes straight in, but at Jabs, looking for the monkey. With the setup, Freeze with that Yours pickup, looking to hold Jabs back. Ice on the high ground, trying to bring down Freeze. He's going to make it out, though. Ice is not as lucky. But Jabs did end up killing FY once again, and now has to be a bit careful. He's low on the mana. Nuts trying to slow down the advance of VGJ. It will cost Nuts his life. Does allow Jabs to get out there, but all in all, VGJ very happy with that swing of events. Getting the Roshan and taking down 3 heroes. Not the 2 big cores, but at this stage, 3 kills for 1, 3 kills for FY. Absolutely take that.
Yeah, that's great. You want some kills at this point, and at that point, I feel like Faceless should not have been contesting. It wasn't even contesting Roshan. They shouldn't be fighting. They don't have Terrorblade ready to go. Terrorblade's their second most farmed hero in the entire game.
And he's AFK.
Yeah,
he's not done yet. Black's like, guys, I still need a few more items.
It's not Black's fault. He's
it's not Black's time to fight.
That was totally on his team.
Yeah.
Black's probably like, maybe I'll come contest Roshan, but as soon as Roshan's down, Black's like, nope, I'm still farming, guys. His team should be like, yeah, keep farming. They have Aegis. Why would we fight? This is... XY tried to contest initially, like with the Boulder Smash. Once that happens, just if XY dies, so be it. You lose an Earth Spirit to get some scouting info. No one else needs to die, but the big commitment from, Jabs wanted to get... Jabs gets a free kill and gets out, but he kind of also baits his team into going in. Same with, like, everyone just kind of baits each other, thinking like, oh, we can fight right now, let's go for it. But the end result is it's Black just wanting to farm as he should, and the rest of the team just going in kind of one by one, doing bad things. But Rock is down, so I guess Faceless, even with an Aegis on the dire side, want to, again, make something happen while there's no Rock up, and they are going to go on the aggressive.
Bringing Black into the action now.
Oh, Tinker may get, he's likely going to get found at this top lane. Oh, he cancelled that TP. He knows something's up. He sees all the heroes missing on the map. He's ready for the potential bait.
Yeah, and he's just going to defend
they
for the
seem
high
with
ground.
the Radiant Ward, though. They've got a high ground Observer Ward, though, but it doesn't look like they'll go for the jump.
They may just go towards the mid here. They can get a pretty good wraparound from behind.
Yeah,
see if they can spot out first.
Walk right into him. Getting pinged out here. They see everyone with the smoke wearing off the Observer Ward. VGJ perhaps going to elect to not fight until that chaotic offering is a little bit closer to cooling down. And yeah, RTK takes the tower. He pushes incredibly fast with return. This is where the heart is incredibly strong. And going back for the Ags as well. Seems like more of a later game pickup now.
And they're ready to fight here though, Black. It's going to be the one to give it going on first. There's the ice path onto RTK. Jabs immediately looking for the back lines. Pops the BKB. Straight into the MK ult though, taking a fair bit of damage. Jabs falling down low. Now turns its attention towards Freeze. The Stampy's being popped. Jabs has got to get himself out of there. Low on mana. Golem's being dropped aggressive, trying to find his target. It's going to be XY, but the boulder smash. Black's damage as well with the Skadi kiting aggressive up, making it very hard for him to get in close and personal, but he does jump forward with the Infest. Nuts. God damn it, that tag. Has the Ice Path, holds aggressive back, and will bring him down once they burst the Aegis. RTK looking for Black, and they'll get him in time. No chance, as indeed the Sunder already gone. And VGJ, they do find those big kills. The Aegis certainly helping them in that fight there as Aggressive comes back for round 2. And, well, Faceless just didn't have the answers. They may have taken down the Tinker, but again, losing Jabs, losing Black. VGJ really starting to pull it together in these team fights.
Storm just got melted by like a stun into, like, I think it was just lifestealer right-click damage with the Deso Assault Caress.
Yeah. He was just gone. I think he, as well, maybe he was a bit, but oh my goodness, that's the courier gone.
Bowling from Storm, but you're not killing a Heart of Tress Centaur. 4k HP, good luck with that. Yeah, Jabs needs a Shivers badly. He needs some extra armor. That'll more than double his armor once he completes it, so that'll make a big difference against the Lifestealer.
Oh. You know what that courier was as well? I think that was...
oh, it was the Ags?
I think that, yeah, because it was 3k worth one. My courier hotkey's not working, unfortunately, but
yeah.
I imagine that was our TK's Ags.
Not the best, but also you've lost Aegis, so I don't imagine VGJ were ready to go like, let's go high ground push, so not the end of the world, but definitely could theoretically change the VGJ's plans a little bit. May stop them from going too fight-centric right now. Man, just watching this Centaur, something hits him, it's a 200 damage return, it looks like, roughly. 75% of your strength is bonus damage.
It's pretty insane. I mean, we saw really in that last fight, RTK was just able to head in on the front lines, and very little really that they can do about it, Faceless, at this stage. Basher now picked up on FY, so as we were mentioning, it did have a very tough start this game, but just having that ultimate with the Basher could just be so disruptive. I mean, and they almost, like, Jabs has to make a beeline for him, I feel, if the ult's laid down. If they wish to fight around it, they've just got to get him out of there.
Some extra potential lockdown for a Storm. If Storm's fighting in that Wukong's command, gets hit by a Bash, that could be pretty big difference maker as far as being able to kill off this Storm. So it does feel like Faceless haven't used their overall mobility and timings all that well. That Roche fight really set them back. The Storm Death prevented him from snowballing a bit as well. So things aren't going as well as they perhaps could have been. And we're going to see a Hex at some point on Freeze's Tinker, and that's where life gets very difficult for the Storm as well as the TB. There's not going to be Lincoln Spheres up. And that's...
Oh, look at this as well. This smoke could pay off big for VGJ, but at the same time, it's the wraparound from Faceless. Smoke on smoke action. Faceless have the high ground for the time being, but now they're down to the low. VGJ now on the top. Faceless have got to be so careful now. Again, switching around. Faceless on the high ground of the enemy side, and VGJ vice versa. VGJ's to wear off. There's the jump forward. Jabs immediately with the silence. There's silence as well from XY catching out too. They're looking to focus down the goal and make sure that there's no chance for a chaotic offering. They've done it. They've taken down one, but they've lost eyesight size. The Wukong command. The bashes onto Jabs. Jabs in trouble. He comes straight back in. Dispatches the monkey. Will survive for the time being. The rockets aren't going to go his way.
Ooh.
So he gets out. And
Faceless.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Jabs.
I wasn't really watching the fight to the right side there. I was watching Jabs mostly. Firstly, he does a good job. Takes out the Warlock. That's his first priority. Jump the Warlock, stop the Rock Fatal Bonds coming out. And then his next priority was, let's deal with this Monkey King. But he got bashed. Man. Then he bowled onto the Monkey King, got bashed again. He just got chain bashed. And it looked like from my side, it looked like Faces were struggling that fight. But it seemed like the Terrorblade.
Oh, and they're finding more here. Aggressive's being caught out. TPs will be coming across. Can they do anything to save him? Freeze is there. And in fact, it looks like it's going to be enough to spook Faceless. They don't want to stick around and go for it. They will back off. Aggressive will survive. I mean, obviously very tanky with the armlet and the Assault Caress, getting himself away. But, it's 17-7. It's panning out to be very close between these two teams when it comes down to it in the full 5v5s. And all about the order of pickoffs. And I think as we saw there, getting rid of that Warlock is definitely one of the ways to go if you want to tackle these team fights.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because like both teams have cores that can hard counter the other team's cores. Like Storm can theoretically completely take out Tinker from a fight, but TB does the same to Lifestealer, but at the same time, Tinker can make TB useless. He doesn't have a BKB, so if he gets chain lasered, he's out of the fight. Once Tinker has the Hex, it gets even more interesting because then you've got that insta-disable to completely destroy the Storm Spirit. So both teams' carries can, like, with just one good spell usage, delete their opponent, but really comes down to who's getting those better initiations, who can counter-initiate. That's where the Warlock Rock is very important. Damien wants to not get caught and use that Rock to protect his carries, protect his Tinker. The center Ags is going to be another nice little tool moving forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If that courier hadn't died and they had the Ags for that last engagement, things could have certainly been different. VGJ would potentially not have lost 3 of their heroes. So as it all goes back to, you know, Jab's getting that courier certainly helped out for that team fight. And VGJ, they spot Roche, they know it's up. They do have all their ultimates. And same will soon to be said, I imagine, for Faceless as well. Okay, Nature's Wrath has been spammed out by High Size, but not really a crucial one for these engagements. Just be very interesting to see who goes for it. Obviously, with the heroes they have, VGJ, I guess you say they probably do it quite a bit quicker with the damage that Aggressive's offering. And I'm talking about Aggressive. There's the damage indeed. Takes down an Earth Spirit out for 50 seconds. This could be the chance for them to go for Roche.
It's a support, but we're kind of at that point where you need every stun or silence you can get. You're versing a team.
I like this pickup as well from Aggressive. Manta style against these Orchids, the Earth Spirit. He is going to be so hard to take down.
Yep. See what the response is going to be. Doesn't look like Jabs is bowling in bottom. Long range ball.
I was looking for freeze. They will get the vision there. Just the edge of the sprout, but they can't zip on forward.
Entire mana pool looking for that catch. That guarantees 100% Roche. No way to stop this now.
I'm aggressive as well with the levels. He's really hitting it up there, as we can see. 23, now on to 24. So soon to max out. And I'm at this game. Did you get the armor or the ray? Probably the armor. Do you feel against Black's TB? Or
it's TB. It's definitely the armor.
Especially seeing as you picked up the man, so you've already got answers to what was a lot of the spells.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be armor for sure.
Yeah.
I think even if there was like 4 other heroes with a bazillion disables, it's still the TB that kills you in these fights. So you almost have to go armor every single time you're playing like this kind of a matchup as a Lifestealer. The big 25's coming.
Storm's close.
Storm's, yeah, it's pretty close. Not the
biggest. Yeah.
Normally
Storms are a bit.
Normally see the spell amp, although we did see. I imagine we saw the Ag Storm. I imagine he went the Electric Vortex. I don't know.
I don't know actually. I didn't see any.
That was the. I just saw that big clip from the team fight where we got the 4-man Vortex, but that's like the only time I feel like you go for the Vortex duration. It's such a small increase. It's like you look at that and you're like 0.75, really? Like at least give me like a 1.5. If it was 1.5 second, you'd consider it. I feel, but
yeah, but 10% just across the board is a lot nicer.
Yeah,
10% spell amp on everything, and also what the Orchid soul burn damage. I guess that would get amplified.
Pretty nice
as well.
for like the long range ball lightning pickoffs you can get. If you hit the ball lightning damage, it does like a good couple thousand damage sometimes. So it's a nice little. I mean, realistically, both level 25 talents are pretty garbage on Storm. It's one of the heroes that didn't get treated very well with the level 25 talents. But at least something.
I got some nice one elsewhere. I mean, 40 attack speed.
Yeah,
that's certainly one of the highest attack speed talents I feel, isn't it? 40s. That's a lot.
Level 15, 20 are pretty decent. Level 20 is really nice.
Level 10's nice as well.
10's alright,
free flat mana regen.
Yep. And the damage is pretty nice too. I think a lot of storms go both. I think I see more storms go damage even.
Okay.
Not sure on that. Not seeing enough storm, but it feels like it's a bit of a split between the two.
RTK also closing in on that point, and return aura certainly going to be nice. I mean, you got kind of 3 right clickers really, haven't you? They're looking to pick an aura. So if you can get that aura on your lineup, especially obviously already having the heart, he's got a lot of strength to dish out and bump that up. Lotus Orb now complete as well. That's going to be ideal for these high ground pushes.
Another Courier Snipe. Ice. Having some fun. He's got a Silver Edge coming. This will help against that Centaur return.
I'm going to zip in and look for RTK. Moves the silence with the Lotus Orb, and in fact, looking for the Yule setup into the Boulder Smash. Can they bring this man down? Well, with the damage coming out from Black, they certainly can. rips him to pieces there, and they're not done yet. Jab zips in, finds the Warlock. You'll see FY from the sidelines lay down the ultimate. The bash comes through, holding Jab's back for the time being, but it's not enough. Goes straight across onto FY. FY is out, aggressive, trying to man up against the T-Blade with the Hex as well. Ticket comes close, but they can't quite finish him. He's going to be back for round 2. Black's got the Sunder ready and waiting though, and there we have it. Aggressive though, into the Treant. Which one's he in? Send him back to the fountain. In fact, no, just keep him here. They're about to time out. They're surrounding the pumpkins. And Aggressive is going to get well and truly pumpkined himself here with the damage from Black once again. I mean, as we're seeing, just TB and the combination of Ice having that Bloodthorn is just so much damage. Yeah. There's a full 5-man team wipe, and Faceless ready to push with a... Wow, Metamorphosis is out, but regardless, having the Butterfly, the Manta, they've got a lot of push potential.
Just really good control all across the board. Tinker just getting taken out with silences. He uses himself to get a silence, but you use yourself. You set up an Earth Spirit stun, you set up an Ice Bath, you set up another silence from an Earth Spirit. I feel like you need a BKB on Tinker this game more than a Yule Scepter. If you want to go for a defensive item, the Yule's just gives him next to nothing at this point. And Faceless win a big team fight. Black has well and truly finished farming. He's come online, he's ready to go. And we saw it there with a major amount of damage output coming from his Terrorblade.
And you've also got Hex completed on Ice as well, so a lot of lockdown. And VGJ, they will do their best here. They will be able to hold Faceless off for a bit. Did cost them that. And that one buyback on the Tinker. Freeze buying back there for the defense. And it will protect Aggressives at least. He won't need to use it, it seems. Still down for 20 seconds though. And Faceless are hammering into the tier 3 up on the top lane. Jump forward from RTK, but he's going to be jumped on himself. Jabs, looking for the backlines. Straight onto the Tinker with the control. Should be able to bring him down. The Stampede just saves him. Freeze gets back to safety. No one to fall yet on the side of VGJ. And in fact, Faceless themselves rather low. Jabs, a little low on the mana situation, and VGJ want to chase. Jump forwards there, but the Yules holds back the Centaur. RTK, and he's still close down with the Hex. The double lasers. Freeze comes in with a double kill. They're not done yet. The bash is there from FY. Jabs, very low on the mana, tries to fire kill in return. He's going to have to kill himself. FY will survive. Jabs does deny. But VGJ, they hold on. They keep the racks alive. Do lose at a tier 3.
Yep. Big back and forth team fights there. Jabs just committing a lot of mana for that Tinker Dive, and once he doesn't kill him, perhaps that Ag Stampede saves. It was right as the Orchid damage was about to hit in.
I think that definitely saved
big
Freeze.
Chunk of damage, and he survived the Orchid damage on like 120 HP without that 40% reduction. I feel like, yeah, that would have been enough with the Orchid damage to complete the kill. So just enough survivability, and they hold the base. Shrines will be opened up, but that's both sides. Both teams have lost a T3 tower, and not the biggest deal in the world. Could come into like factor as far as fighting around the Roshan pit, buying back and being able to TP to shrines is definitely nice, since once you lose all your outer towers, you can't really TP out on the map, but having like a shrine to TP to rejoin a fight could be nice for either team, but I imagine both teams will look to take those out. Aggressive, completing MKB.
Yeah. Going all in as well. I wondered if you would, but I guess you have to if you want any chance of bringing down Black on the Terrorblade, but it does mean that no buyback portion of the game.
Tinker doesn't have buyback, so he's probably thinking if Tinker dies, doesn't really matter.
True.
You've lost the game if Tinker dies. Like, even if life still has buyback, having 2 lives doesn't matter when you've got no Tinker for additional support. Lockdown from the Hex, the constant spam is necessary as well, so may as well go all in across the board, and we'll see what that achieves for Vici Gaming. Another 3k on ROTK. We'll see where he goes in terms of his itemization. He's constantly stacked for money.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I guess he probably just picks up the boots of travel next. Do you feel gets those tranquils out?
I'm wondering what you replace the hood with. There's not that much magic damage. The hood is like was a good early game item. Helps you farm. Helps deal with some of the annoying nukes, but those nukes aren't very problematic anymore.
Yeah, I think ideally, if anything, they just want to try and get ROTK up to that 25. He's very close to it.
Refresher probably is the item that we used to see a lot, even with the Ags Stampede nerf. I think Refresher is still pretty damn nice.
Well, VGJ themselves now heading across, ready to make some action happen. Freeze looking for the lane that he's going to be heading for, as he's waiting for them to really kind of reveal themselves. Faceless, and now with the reveal of Black in the mid lane. He'll feel confident going down to the bottom, keeping that lane pushed back over to VG, over to Faceless' side of the map.
Yep. We'll take out the other shrine, just make sure that they kind of cover their bases. Any small little objective you can take, you may as well. And exactly what the scenario is going to be. RTK queuing up Refresher next. See if he goes all in, buys that, or I mean, he's going to have to replace the hood, so he may sell it and buy it, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the case.
There's smoke up from Faceless. They do have this ward on the high ground there, VGJ. I'm not too sure. It might have catched one of them on the very edge of that.
There's a Refresher. That's a lot of damage block.
Oh, he's gone all in as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like this from VGJ.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, here like center on the front lines. It means you can pop the Stampede when they go on you and not worry about your teammates because you've got a second one to throw for them.
It's going to be incredibly hard for Faceless to fight around, and they are going to look to fight. Jabs has that arcane room ready to go, zips up to the high ground, checks the situation, comes back in, looks for the quick pick off. He's focusing the Monkey King, but in fact with the Shadow Blade, FY's going to be fine, and now Freeze jumps in, has the Hex, the Storm Spirit in trouble. Stampede comes through as well, the Rockets fly as Freeze picks up a double kill. He's not done yet. Black, the last one left alive here on Faceless, surrounded, hexed up. Freeze picks up the triple. And VGJ, with the power that they surmounted to with those all-in purchases, are able to do it and are now ready to power down the mid lane and for sure force out a fair few buybacks from the side of Faceless.
I didn't even need the Refresher. He held on to it. He's got double Stampede for this fight coming up in 30 seconds time, so dominant fight. Jabs not the target to go for. The Monkey King there. A hero you probably just want to ignore. You need to find bigger core heroes. I love this RTK, just tanks tier 4 towers. It's like 100 every time the tower right-clicks, it takes 100 damage, roughly. Maybe 60, 70. The Glyph will slow it down, but it is obnoxious stuff.
About 330 regen.
They're going for the throne. They're like, well, there's tier 2 towers at top. We can't get megas. Let's go throne.
What can you do if you're Faceless? You've got no Jakiro. You will have the rest of the 4-up.
There's no rock, but double Stampede is still pretty damn scary to fight into.
How do they initiate? How do they start this off?
They force the buybacks, so now they go for the racks now that they realize, okay, throne isn't really happening with buybacks coming out.
Here we go. There's the jump immediately with the silence, the control onto RTK. They have the damage as well from the Bloodthorn, but it's not quite enough. They bring him down to half. There comes the first Stampede, and in with the Wukong's command. That's Jabs out. No buyback for him. Refresher from RTK. They're ready for round 2, VGJ, and Faceless certainly are not. They've lost XY, 3 down hitting the decks. None with buyback. RTK and the boys straight back in onto the tier 4s, and this will almost certainly be VGJ closing the win here in game 1. Black and Ice trying their best to stop this, but he's been hexed up. There's the second ult coming through from RTK, and they dispatch of Black quick and easily. VGJ coming back from a start where it looked like Black could become an issue. He became massive on the Terrorblade, but the team fight and the execution at the end of the day was just perfect from VGJ, and Jabs couldn't get those key pick off in the late game fights that he was able to at the start of the mid game fights.
Yeah, really, to me, I was just like, as I followed that game, I just felt like throughout the entire game, I was like, I'm Faceless in a pretty good position, and then everything just falls apart in a couple fights in a row. And
yeah, I mean, you can see here, like, it was even, but yeah, around kind of the 10k point Faceless, it was more over their side.
And Storm was just meant to be like a beast this game. This was the game where there was no real good Storm counters. That Tinker Hex theoretically poses a threat, but I think Jabs just I mean, talked about execution.
You can see he fell off. There was a point.
Yeah, the team fight execution definitely the major issue, but I think even Jabs and his individual play in those team fights was not the greatest. I mean, I don't think like that's the only reason they lost. And I'm not like pointing fingers just at him, but as this like couple fights in a row goes to the Monkey, great itemization for FY to have the Shadow Blade so he doesn't get picked by the Storm. But even if he gets picked, they're still losing that fight because Tinker is just hexing Jabs. He's chain stunning him. I think Tinker, in the late game, Tinker has to always be your target as a Storm Spirit, so he made big mistakes there. If you're not going for Tinker, you're getting chain hex, or your carry Black is getting chain hex, so that's really your number one priority as a Storm Spirit. And VG Gaming just had the better team fights. If you can kill a Warlock, it perhaps would have been okay, but the other hero we didn't really see much out of, like once we got to mid to late game, was the Nature's Prophet. It was kind of annoying in the early mid-game split push, but come team fights, just, I don't know, didn't really offer a whole, maybe got a nice clutch silence hero there, but didn't really feel like Nature's Prophet was a big difference maker this game.
Yeah, for sure. And as you mentioned, just the time that the Black turned up to the fights, the fact that Freeze had the item progression that he had, and, you know, with the bans that were made in the draft, there was just no hero, nothing that they could have to save him once he got hexed. You know, they were desperately trying to kill off the teammates of VGJ, but well, with the farm that they had, it was nigh on impossible. Yeah. Game 1.
Tough game. Feels like a game that slipped away from Faceless because everything seemed to be going right. They had the right picks and drafts. Maybe VG Gaming, I could be wrong. Maybe they just felt like they had it all along. But to me, like the Monkey King was having low impact. Wasn't impressed by FY's play in the early to mid game. Late game, he made up for it with a few different plays. But to me, my head, I feel like this just slipped away. Faceless were the team that kind of lost this game more than VG Gaming won it.
Oh, well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 going to VGJ. We'll see if they're able to do it again a second time in Game 2, or if indeed Faceless can bring something maybe a bit different again. We saw them, as we said in the draft, trying out this Ice 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 and Nature's Prophet, trying the Chikiro once more, as VGJ very much with their comfort style heroes and play aggressive lifesteal, of course, having a very solid performance. And we'll see more action very shortly. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get ourselves in the lobby. We'll pass you over to a quick break. We'll be back for more Dota 2 here at the DAC group stages.